The Johannesburg Stock Exchange was little changed in early trade, while its global peers were mixed, with the local focus shifting to the medium-term budget policy statement. Michael Treherne, who's portfolio manager at Vestact, joins us now to dissect the latest business stories. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Treherne. If you could take us through how the local bourse and the rand are trading so far today.
Afternoon, Tommy. As you mentioned, JSE All Share looking rather flat at the moment. It's down 0.08%, so not moving much. And this is after global markets have been seeing record highs the last few days. It looks like we're taking a bit of a wait-and-see approach at the moment. Moving on to our currency, rand dollar currently at 14.88, and that's as there's dollar weakness. The dollar reached a 15-month high on Monday. And it looks like traders are taking profits there and just calming down for this week, where there's a lot less data coming out.
Royal Bafokeng Holdings says it has received and has also accepted an unsolicited offer from Northern Platinum Holdings. If you could take us through the specs of that deal and what each group stands to benefit.
Yeah, a bit of a deal out of left field. The expectation was for Impala Platinum and Royal Bafokeng Platinum to be merging. That was announced at the end of last month, and the companies were busy doing due diligences. Royal Bafokeng Holdings, which is the unlisted parent company of Royal Bafokeng Platinum, has now agreed to sell their 33% stake in RB Platinum to Northern shareholders at a 50% premium to today's share price. So it looks pretty good for that holding company. The Northern share price is down 15% on the news. That's probably because the market feels they're overpaying. Both groups come out saying that they feel there's good synergies between the two parties, given that their mines operate in similar areas. But I suppose with these mega deals, it's always worth waiting and seeing a few years if things actually go according to plan.
And how does this then leave Royal Bafokeng Holdings, and how does that leave perhaps any obligations that they might have to the Royal Bafokeng community?
So what's happening is Royal Bafokeng Holdings is getting 8 billion in cash, and they're getting the rest in Northern shares. So they're still going to have a stake in the platinum area. So they'll have direct holdings in Northern and then indirect holdings to RB Platinum. Part of this deal does also involve Northern being involved with the community and trying to support the SMME community with some vendor financing there. Let's see how that plays out. But I think for Royal Bafokeng Holdings to get a 50% premium on the current share price of Royal Bafokeng Platinum, this looks like a win for them and the community.
Let's take a look now at the tech group Net1. Now, they say that they've taken a profit hit from the insurance claims as well as the lower airtime sales. Take us through the numbers on their front.
Yeah, so slightly disappointing numbers coming out of Net1. They showed a drop in revenue and a drop in profits. As you mentioned, they're a financial services player, and lower airtime sales, not good for them. And then also insurance claims relating to COVID hurt. I think the big news for them is what we spoke about, I think it was a week or two ago, about their big acquisition of Connect Group, the fintech player. So that seems to be the focus of the group at the moment. They've managed to pay down all their debt, and as a company with no debt, they're on the hunt. And Connect Group, the fintech player, is roughly the same size as them, and that acquisition is going to define Net1 for the future.
Now, the midterm budget statement policy is fast approaching, just a couple more days to go. How are we faring on the investor sentiment ahead of this speech?
I think, not to sound too cynical, but investors have got to the point where talk is cheap. We're far more interested in seeing what's been said applied. So investors have got to the point where whatever's said by politicians is taken with a pinch of salt. I think what will matter to investors is let's see how our tax collections have looked. and ultimately what is our debt to GDP ratio, because that brings down, comes down to our interest rates, and our interest rate shows the investability level of South Africa. So that's what we'll be looking for on the whole.
Mr. Michael Treherne, thank you once again for your time and today's market update. That's Michael Treherne. He is Portfolio Manager at Vestact.